powers, especially Assyria and Babylon, lifted themselves up in haughtiness against Jehovah God himself. God said of Assyria by means of his prophet Isaiah, "Aha, the Assyrian, the rod for my anger," but he also described Assyria's haughtiness, saying, "Will the axe enhance itself over the one chopping with it, or the saw magnify itself over the one moving it back and forth, as though the staff moved back and forth the ones raising it on high, as though the rod raised on high the one who is not wood." Then he foretold punishment to come upon the nation of Assyria for thus thinking that it was greater than the one using it and for lifting itself up against him. Issa 10. 5:15. When Jehovah made a covenant for the kingdom with David, he said of the line of kings of David's dynasty, "I myself shall become his father, and he himself will become my son. When he does wrong, I will also reprove him with the rod of men and with the strokes of the sons of Adam." 2:7-14. Here the rod of discipline that Jehovah as a father would use was the authority of the governments of the world, such as Babylon. This nation was used to overturn the kingdom of God in the hands of the kings of David's line, until he should come whose legal right it is. As 21:27. In 70 CE the Roman armies under General Titus were rod to execute punishment on unfaithful Jerusalem. Da 9:26-27. Wrong use of the rod. The governments and judges of earthly nations often used their rod of authority in an unrighteous way, even fighting against God and his people. When Jesus Christ was brought before the Jewish high court and before the Roman governor Pilate, he was afflicted, mocked, spit upon, beaten, and finally killed. The Jewish leaders first used their authority against Jesus and then made the rod heavier by turning him over to the Roman government for execution. The prophet Micah foretold such affliction in these words, "With the rod they will strike upon the cheek the judge of Israel." Mic 5:1. After Jesus' death and resurrection, the Jewish rulers used their authority to persecute Jesus' followers, and in many instances Rome and the other governments of earth likewise used their rod of authority in a wrong way. For this they would be brought to account by God. Job 19:8-11. 2th 6-9. Parental authority. Rod is used also to symbolize the authority of parents over their children. The book of Proverbs makes many references to this authority, the term symbolizing all forms of discipline used, including the literal rod used for chastisement. The parent is actually responsible before God to exercise this rod, controlling the child. If the parent fails in this, he will bring ruination and death to his child and disgrace and God's disapproval to himself also. PR 10. 1. 15. 20. 17. 25. 19. 13. Foolishness is tied up with the heart of the boy. The rod of discipline is what will remove it far from him. Do not hold back discipline from the mere boy. In case you beat him with the rod, he will not die. With the rod you yourself should beat him, that you may deliver his very soul from Sheol itself. PR 22. 15. 23. 13, 14. In fact, the one holding back his rod is hating his son, but the one loving him is he that does look for him with discipline. O texto e acute miritra longo, Romans, letter to the 819 me. Your rod and your staff are the things that comfort me. PS 23. 1-4 Michael prayed. Shepherd your people with your staff, the flock of your inheritance. Mic 7. 14. Compare Job 10. 11, 14. Heb 13. 20. 1 PE 2. 25. 5. 4. Redanimrodamiddle.nim. Listed as one of Javan's 4 sons at 1 Chronicles 1. 7. There is uncertainty as to the correct spelling of the name, since the Masoretic text at 1 Chronicles 1. 7 has Redanim, whereas many Hebrew manuscripts and the Latin Vulgate here read Dodanim. Dodanim also appears in the Masoretic text at Genesis 10. 4, where, however, the Greek Septuagint and the Samaritan Pentateuch read Redanim. In Hebrew the letter R and the letter D are very similar and hence could be confused by a copyist. Thus Repath in GE 10. 3 appears as Tapath at 1 ch1. 6 in the Masoretic text. Most translations present both names. Many lexicographers consider Adanim to be the preferred reading. Commentators that accept this reading consider it likely that the people descending from this son of Javan populated the island of Rhodes and the neighboring islands of the Aegean Sea. Roebuck-Heb. Yomidal-Dotma. The male of the roe deer, a small variety resembling a gazelle. The Roebuck capreolus stands over 0.6 meters, 2 feet high at the shoulder and measures about 1.2 meters, 4 feet in length. Only the males have antlers, and these are shed each year. The roebuck's summer coat is reddish-brown, and this may have been the basis for its Hebrew name Yomidal-Dotma, considered to be derived from a root meaning be red. This animal is not generally gregarious. Small groups of 3 or 4, the buck, the doe, and a fawn or 2, may be seen feeding together. The roebuck has one mate for life. Being a chewer of the cud and a splitter of the hoof, the roebuck was acceptable for food according to the terms of the Mosaic law. The 14. 5, 6 The flesh of this creature